Hi, I'm Marcus from Marcus Language Academy. Thanks so much for joining us again for our webinar, and I can't wait to show you the next step in this video. In our first video, we discovered the real secrets of language learning. Feel like a child again. Be intuitive by using the storytelling method. Use questions and answers to repeat, and this way you store everything in your long-term memory. And try to listen to the language as often as possible. Mastering a new language opens new ways for a life full of possibilities. And to be ready for your next trip, your next job, or even for a life in a new country, you need to understand the next step. So let's dive deeper into the learning process and release your superpowers to help you remember better. And the sky is the limit when it comes to success. And combined with the secrets of learning from our first video, you'll understand why my method will help you so much. Do you know those people who are able to memorize a number with thousands of digits? And do you think they have super brains? My answer is no. They just know how to use their superpowers. And the good news is that you have the same powers. You just need to use your senses. To remember a number that long, it's impossible to memorize every digit individually. Instead, they associate an image to every single digit. And then they use the images to build a story. And that's exactly what they do. They tell us a story. A story that you can see, feel, smell, and all that help you to remember better. But let's get back to language learning. Do you still remember our 5 words from our first video? We've already used some of your superpowers because we put all the words together in one sentence and you started feeling the words. Just for now, let's make the sentence a little easier. Leo lernt eine neue Sprache in der Schule. And now comes the next step. To make it even more fun, let's add some pictures to our sentence and create a scene. This is Leo. He learns a new language at school. And again, children always associate the words to a scene with pictures and not to a translation. Black and white is a bit boring. So let's add some colors to understand even better what's going on. First of all, we could add the color green. Leo is the subject of the sentence. The person doing the action is always a nominative case. And it has an influence of our verb endings. That's why the verb ending is a T. Lernen is a regular verb. And to visualize that as well, we could paint our background green. Irregular verbs could use, for example, a red background. But let's add more colors. We could use the color blue for our direct object, which uses the accusative. And orange because the preposition in uses the dative case. And in the dative case, the feminine article die becomes der. In German, the article always depends on the case. And using colors is a great tool to visualize that. So using your senses is much better than memorizing grammar rules. Our original sentence from video 1 was: Leo möchte eine neue Sprache in der Schule lernen. How does our color scheme change here? The subject, direct object and preposition would use the same colors. But there's a change with our verb. And now we actually have two verbs. The modal verb comes in position 2 and the infinitive of our other verb comes at the end. We could use yellow as our background color and a symbol for our modal verb. A modal verb is a kind of verb used to indicate a modality. In this case, a request. And that's why we are using Aladdin's lamp. And the ending of möchten here is quite irregular. And we could use the color red to mark that as well. Isn't it amazing how colors help you remember better? In my course, every sentence of the story we use to learn the language has its own scene. This way you connect even more and visualize everything. And to use even more senses, we should listen to our little story as often as possible. So instead of reading a text, we should focus on listening and watching the scenes. And in my course, all audios are recorded by native speakers in the best possible quality.
Leo möchte eine neue Sprache in der Schule lernen.
And to be interactive and create even more repetition, the story is actually asked for. And there's where another sense comes into play: curiosity. Questions wake you up and you stay even more attentive. And there is a great audio recording for all the questions and corresponding answers in form of a conversation. And combined with the pictures, you'll be blown away how easy it is to remember everything. So let's have a look.
Wer möchte lernen?
Leo. Leo möchte lernen.
Was möchte er lernen?
Eine neue Sprache. Er möchte eine neue Sprache lernen.
Wo möchte er eine neue Sprache lernen?
In der Schule. Er möchte eine neue Sprache in der Schule lernen.
And there's more. What happens when we want to use past or future tense? We simply change the background color of our scene. And that's a great way to easily change the point of view and apply the needed information. Our goal is to connect the language to a story by seeing colors and pictures. Audios that make us really feel the melody of the language. And emotions like curiosity that make us alive. So instead of a simple text translation, our superpowers will help us to really feel the language. Find your way to use your superpowers. This is my way of using superpowers, and I'm pretty sure there are more. Please share your ideas in our chat. And I would be very happy to learn from you as well, because a teacher is always a student, at least in my world. And that helps me to understand better what you need. Now, I want to share some data of not using your superpowers and using your superpowers. It usually takes 100 hours to reach A1 and another 200 hours to reach A2. That's in total 300 hours. Wow, that's quite a lot. But if you use your superpowers with my method, you can go from 0 to A2 in only 130 hours. And that's for real, because I track the progress of my students. So there's no excuse for you not to use your superpowers. And if you still think you can't do it, just see the results of my students who, just like you, had a dream of learning a new language, and their dream came true. In our next video, I help you defeat your doubts that you can't do it. And we'll see how to stay motivated throughout the whole learning process. And in video 4, I show you how to take real action and start your new life in a short period of time. And please don't forget your little homework assignment to share your ideas for using your superpowers. And I'm looking forward to reading about it in our chat. And because you watched the video until the end, I have a little surprise for you. I'm giving away my grammar book of my course for free. And in this PDF you can see how I use colors and pictures to really see grammar without having to struggle with rules. I'm Marcus from Marcus Language Academy, and I see you in our third video of our webinar. Take care and see you soon.